big, extreme good readability, fantastic luminescence, a big case, a matte case on a leather strap. This is what Flieger watches should look like, and this is what the Laco Friedrichshafen does look like. Hello and welcome to Watch Maxie's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. Well, Laco is the brand which stood for me for Flieger Uhren, similar to no other brand. And I have to say, Laco did something which really surprised me, and I think it's pretty good. They ship their watches in a card box like this, not too big, and just a simple card box, nothing special around it. And within this card box there is a larger travel case. It's artificial leather, and the watch is within that case, safely stored, and you can use it during travel. The guarantee card, the manual, all in that travel case with a zipper around. Pretty nice, no waste, nothing to store away. You can really use it, and I wished others would do it the same way. I do know some do it, but most don't, and this is something which should become a standard rather than a box in paper, which is nothing but waste and lost storage in my room. So let's move to the watch itself, and I'm really proud to be able to present that particular watch, because Laco contacted me in form of a comment under a video I did, and this could happen because my channel is a bit more known and has a wider reach, and this is just because your comments, your subscriptions, and if you'd like to see more interesting watches like the one I do today, subscribe to my channel, recommend my videos, recommend my channel, share the links with family, friends and colleagues, and just spread the good news. And the more people know my channel, the more interesting watches I'm able to present. And now let's move to the Laco Friedrichshafen. Well, with 45mm, the watch is definitely too big for my 17cm wrist. I can't change it, and there's no way to discuss. 6 3/4 inch is not enough for this kind of watch. This watch is empowered by a Laco 24, which is actually a basis ETA 2824.2 with a 45mm case and a lug-to-lug span of 53.5mm. It is really a big watch, but still significantly smaller than the real historical Flieger watches, to which I will come later on in the video. The case is really matte and bead blasted. This is exactly how the classical Flieger watches should look like, and the Laco series, Laco Originals, is subject to a really close watch, close to the original specs. It has a bead blasted case, it has a big and very handy crown, it has a lug width of 22mm, a sapphire crystal on the front. This particular watch is a watch in the Baumuster type B, which means it has the smaller hour ring in the center and the very long minute hand. It comes on a traditional leather strap and has really good luminous power, which I will show you later on in the video. A little bit later in the video I will come closer and in more detail to the specifications which have been launched for Flieger watches during the Second World War, and this watch is exactly how these watches may have looked in a bigger case. The case has a diameter of 45mm, as I said, and a thickness of 13mm. it has a plain steel back which looks a little bit like a military watch, which it has been, at least in terms of the original historical watch. It has an engravement on the side, and the same number is on the back. It's the FL23883. This number has a meaning, and I will explain it in a couple of minutes. The crown is a non-screwed crown, it's just pull and push. And the hands are temperature blued, which make the watch really nice looking. It's a standard pin buckle, it's Laco signed, a thick brown leather strap. The pin is a little bit wider, which according to my experience is very good for the leather strap. And now let's move on and have a deeper look into the specifications. On the watch there is an engravement and it says FL23883, and this has a particular meaning. FL stands for flight, 23 is the code number for navigation, and 883 is the specifications number for the German Research Institute for Aviation. Altogether is the number, the order number with which the Imperial Air Ministry, I hope the translation is correct, ordered these watches in the 40s during the Second World War. Laco names that particular series Laco Originals because the watch is pretty close to the original specifications of a typical Flieger watch. There have been only 5 companies which were allowed to build these Flieger watches, and these have been Laco, Lange & Söhne, Stowa, Wempe and IWC. All of these historical watches had in common that they had a diameter of 55 mm. They did have the engravement on the side, as I showed just a couple of minutes ago, and on the back FL23883. It had a large and very handy crown. Very important, those watches needed to have a hacking movement in order to be able to set the time very accurately. They had to be extremely precise. They had to meet the chronometer specifications, and they had to be tested against these specifications. And they had to come on a leather strap so that the navigators and observers were able to wear that watch above their clothes on the plane. The crown is a pull and push crown, no screws because it had to be easily operated, and no gimmicks around it. Water resistance is 5 bar. In the air you normally don't want to dive, and if you are in the water you're in real trouble, and the water resistance of the watch is not the primary problem, I guess. So 5 bar should well do for a Flieger watch, for a pilot's watch, since you're not supposed to dive with these kind of watches, at least not in the historical purpose the watch was designed for. I personally like this watch very much. Well, let's have a closer look to the watch. I put my macro lens on and you can really see how the hands are blued and how nice the blue shivers both on the center of the hands and the longer minute and the shorter and thicker hour hand. And the hour hand exactly matches the inner hour circle, and that's exactly how the Baumuster type B was defined. A triangle, an arrow pointing to the top at the 12 o'clock position, the minute indices at the outer ring, and at the inner ring the smaller hour indices. This is how Baumuster type B should look like. The crown is referred to as an onion crown. because it looks a little bit like an onion or a diamond. The shape and form of that crown makes it very easy to grip the crown, to pull it out and to push it in again. The horns to have a special shape, as you can see. They appear to be flat and then slim down towards the case. I haven't seen this before at another watch, and I really found it remarkable and wanted to show it to you. I hope I can focus it correctly, or you can get what I mean. It's not just a simple horn attached to the case. The horn itself has a special shape which I do like a lot, and maybe it looks a little bit like a wing of a plane, but this can be wishful thinking and not a design of the watch, so I leave it to you to decide. Here we have another close-up of the crown, and the crown operations. Just pull it out and push it in. Perfectly made, fits well, and really, really nicely done. The whole case, the front, the bezel and the back is bead blasted which gives the watch a toolish, grayish appearance, which is really important on the plane, because on the plane, particularly during night flights, you didn't want to have any reflection on the watch which distracts your concentration and your focus away from what you're doing towards a watch or a flash or a shiver, which you didn't want to see. So this is really a design of the particular watch, non-reflective watch. And another point of these watch historically was that on the dial there shouldn't be a brand name, because on the dial there should only be those information which are required for navigation. So the producers in the back, you see Laco here, you see the number of the Imperial Air Ministry, which I've explained earlier in the video, and really, really nicely done. The dial, you probably can't see it. It's a matte black. It's not glossy, because glossy would create a shiver. Shiver wasn't wanted on the plane. So everything is dark, grayish, matte, non-reflective, pretty well done. You see certain signs of wear, so it's an exhibition watch. People did have it in their hands. It has been presented, tried on, and watches like this may look used, at least according to my personal perception and my style. Okay, let's have a look at the watch during the night. The luminescence power is really, really great. As you can see here, it's absolutely bright, and let's move to a video take. You can see it's crystal clear and you can read it from nearly any angle. If you turn the watch, look from a different angle, it's absolutely perfectly visible, unless you completely turn it out of sight, but then of course no watch is visible. You see the inner hour ring with the small dots. You see the arrow pointing to the top to make clear where is the upper side of the watch. Absolutely great. If even from a really flat angle you can good read it. Okay, let's move to prices and variants. This particular watch comes as of June 2020 with a price tag of 1,130 euro, and the complete price range is somewhere between just below 1,000 euro up to close to 4,000 euro, while the 4,000 euro are the Erbstücke, or the heritage pieces. These are watches which are manually treated to look vintage, to look old, while they are absolutely new watches with a new movement and a basically new case, although it has been treated to look old. Here you've got an overview of what is possible and what is not. You have Baumuster type A, type B, you have sizes from 39 up to 55 millimeter, you have hand-wound movements, you have automatic movements. It's a whole bunch of watches you get out of the originals or Erbstücke heritage series. Talking heritage, Here you got an example how a heritage or an Erbstück watch may look like. It is really treated manually. Each watch is unique. No watch looks like the other. A lot of effort put into it. To be honest, I'm not a big supporter of manually aged watches. A watch should tell a real story, should tell about a real life. However, these watches do look pretty authentic and they do have an own character, although they didn't have an own life. But for me, it looks authentic. I'm not quite sure if I would be willing to pay the money for it, but if there is someone out there who wants to have an old and vintage looking Flieger watch, this is one possible way to go. Thank you very much for watching my video. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. If you want to see more of these interesting videos and you want to subscribe to my channel, you can support me and look forward to the videos to come. Cheers, Axel.